The Cursed Labubu of Schwarzburg. A German horror story. Das verfluchte Spielzeug. The toy that smiled back, Wilhelm was 13 years old and quiet in the way that thoughtful children often are, observant, careful. Someone who noticed things that other people walked past without seeing. He lived with his parents in a small town in Thuringia, in central Germany, where the winters came early and the summers smelled of pine resin and river water, and the kind of stillness that only exists in places the modern world has not completely reached. One Saturday in October, his mother Ella took him to a second-hand sale being held at a large house 2 streets over. The family who had lived there had moved away suddenly. Nobody was quite sure where or why, and their belongings were being sold off by an estate agent who seemed eager to finish the job quickly and go home. Wilhelm moved through the tables of old books and kitchen equipment and framed photographs with the mild interest of someone who is not looking for anything in particular. Then he saw it. On a table near the back, slightly apart from everything else, sat a Labubu doll. Golden fur, not the cheap yellow of mass production, but something warmer, the color of afternoon light through amber glass. Blue eyes that caught the gray October light and held it. Long ears that curled slightly at the tips. And a smile. Maïn showing those characteristic rows of teeth. The smile that Labubu collectors either found charming or unsettling depending on their temperament. Wilhelm found it charming. He also knew, with the social calculation of a 13-year-old who has spent some time being less popular than he would like, that a genuine Labubu, even a second-hand one, would make his friends extremely interested in him. They had been talking about Labubu dolls for months. Nobody in his group had one. He asked his mother to buy it. She looked at it. Something in her expression suggested she would rather not. But he pressed, and she relented, and the estate agent named a price that seemed slightly too low for what it was and took their money quickly. Wilhelm carried it home under his arm, already thinking about how he would show it to his friends. He put it on the shelf in his bedroom and sat down at his desk to do his homework. Every few minutes his eyes went to the shelf. The Labubu was smiling at him. He knew rationally that it was always smiling. That was how it was made, that was the design. But there was something about the quality of the smile from across the room that was different from the quality of the smile when he held it in his hands. From a distance, it seemed less like a toy's expression, and more like the expression of something that is watching you and is pleased about it. He put it face down on the shelf. His mother called him for dinner. As he stood up, the heavy metal trophy from the top shelf, his father's old athletics trophy from university, kept for sentimental reasons, never touched, fell. It hit the floor directly where Wilhelm had been sitting. He looked at it for a long moment. Then he picked it up, put it back, and went downstairs for dinner without mentioning it. The strange incidents began the following week. When Wilhelm played with the Labubu, things in the house broke. A light bulb in his room blew out with a sound like a small explosion. A crack appeared in the kitchen window for no reason anyone could explain. The glass simply fractured overnight in the cold. His father's reading glasses fell from the nightstand and shattered on the floor. The bathroom mirror developed a hairline crack that extended slowly, overnight, from one corner to the other. And the Labubu's smile seemed to change. Not dramatically, incrementally, a degree wider each day, as though whatever was behind the expression was gradually becoming less interested in concealing itself. Wilhelm told his father. His father was a practical man, an engineer, someone whose relationship with the world was built on physical causation and measurable outcomes. He listened to his son with patient attention and attributed everything to coincidence, to the old house, to the cold weather, to a 13-year-old's vivid imagination. But he also took the doll. "I'll throw it away tomorrow," he said, "and we'll go buy you some new toys, proper ones." He put the Labubu on his nightstand. That night, Wilhelm woke to a loud crash and his father shouting in pain. He ran to the stairs. His father was at the bottom of them, having fallen in the dark. His wrist was broken in 2 places. His mother called an ambulance. She told Wilhelm to stay in the drawing room and wait. He sat on the sofa and pulled his knees to his chest and waited. He fell asleep. When he woke up, the Labubu was on the sofa beside him. His mother found it the next morning and threw it in the outside bin without discussion. She had seen enough. Whatever it was, a bad luck piece, an ugly thing, something she had felt wrong about from the moment she bought it, it was going in the bin and staying there. Wilhelm felt the relief of someone who has been holding their breath for a week and has finally been allowed to exhale. That evening, he was watching television in the drawing room. The old rocking chair in the corner, the one that had belonged to his grandmother and that nobody sat in anymore but that nobody had gotten around to removing, began to rock. Gently, steadily, as though someone were sitting in it. Wilhelm turned to look. The Labubu was in the rocking chair. As he watched, its eyes moved, turned toward him, met his. Wilhelm did not scream. He was too frightened to scream. He simply sat completely still for a very long time until the rocking slowed and stopped, and the doll's eyes were forward again and the drawing room was silent. Then he went to bed with all the lights on. The following morning, Wilhelm went back to the house where the sale had been held. The estate agent's number was on a sign outside. The house was empty, cleaned out, locked. A neighbor, an older man who had lived on the street for 30 years, was walking his dog past and stopped when he saw Wilhelm standing outside. He told Wilhelm what he knew about the family. They had ordered the Labubu online from China about 8 months ago. The children had been excited about it. But from the week it arrived, things had begun to go wrong in ways that seemed unconnected and then increasingly connected. Illness, first one family member, then another. Financial troubles that appeared suddenly and worsened quickly. Arguments. Not the ordinary arguments of family life, but something more sustained, more vicious, as though everyone in the house had lost the ability to be kind to each other. A laughter that could be heard from outside the house in the evenings, when the windows were closed and the street was quiet. A high, repeating sound that had no obvious source. When the family finally left, it stopped. The neighbor looked at Wilhelm carefully. "You bought something from that sale," he said. It was not a question. Wilhelm nodded. The neighbor walked on without saying anything else. Wilhelm took the Labubu to school the next day with the intention of leaving it on the playground and walking away. He put it down between the benches and turned to leave. His best friend Max picked it up and brought it back. "You dropped this." "I didn't drop it. I put it there on purpose. Don't touch it, Max. Seriously, get rid of it." Max looked at the doll, then at Wilhelm, then back at the doll. He began to laugh. The good-natured laughter of a friend who thinks you are being ridiculous. A baseball from the sports lesson on the far side of the playground traveled in the wrong direction at considerable speed. It struck Max in the temple. He fell. The playground had one of the old-style drainage grills, cast iron, raised slightly above the surface, the kind that should have been replaced years ago. Max's head hit the corner of it on the way down. The playground went very quiet. Wilhelm stood completely still with the Labubu in his hands and understood completely and finally, and without any remaining doubt, what it was. That evening, he cut the doll apart with his father's workshop scissors. He put the pieces in the garden fire pit and burned them. He stood and watched until they were ash, and kept watching until the ash was cold. He went to bed. He woke at 3 in the morning. The Labubu was on his pillow, whole, undamaged, the golden fur unsinged, the blue eyes open, the smile wider now than it had ever been. No longer the cute expression of a collector's toy, but something that had stopped pretending, looking up at him from 2 centimeters away. From somewhere inside it, a sound, low, rhythmic, almost musical, laughter. Wilhelm did not sleep again that night. He sat in the corner of his room with the light on and his knees pulled up and watched the doll smile at him until dawn came through the curtains. In the morning, he had bite marks across his arms. Small, neat, semicircular, the kind a mouth with many teeth would make. His parents called a priest. Father Bernhard was the priest at the local Catholic church, a calm, methodical man who had seen a great deal of human distress in 30 years of ministry and who approached the unusual with the same measured attention he brought to everything else. He looked at the Labubu for a long time without touching it. Then he told the family to leave the house. He performed a blessing of the room using materials he had brought with him: holy water, incense, a particular prayer from a section of his breviary that was older than the church building itself. He placed the Labubu in a steel box he had brought for the purpose and sealed it with lead strips and a wax seal bearing a cross. He buried it in the garden of the house 2 streets over, the house where the previous family had lived, at a specific depth, oriented in a specific direction, with specific prayers said over it. He told the family it was finished. He drove home. The next morning, there was a road accident on the highway outside town. Father Bernhard's car had gone off the road in conditions that the traffic investigators described as clear and dry, with no obvious mechanical fault. He was found inside the car. Wilhelm's parents heard the news and made a decision that required no discussion. They packed 3 bags. They put Wilhelm in the car. They drove south and did not stop until they were in a different city in a different region. Far from Thuringia. Far from the house with the rocking chair. Far from the garden where the steel box was buried. They found an apartment. Wilhelm enrolled in a new school. His father's wrist healed. The Labubu did not follow them. Wilhelm is older now. He does not collect toys. He has never bought anything at a secondhand sale. He does not look at Labubu dolls when he passes them in shop windows, which he does increasingly as the little figures have become more popular across Europe. He tells himself this is fine, that it is over, that whatever was in that particular doll stayed in the steel box in the Thuringian garden. He almost believes it. Some nights he dreams of golden fur and blue eyes and a smile that is too wide, showing too many teeth, looking up at him from very close. He turns the light on. He checks the pillow. He waits for morning.